Hi, everybody. This is Carolina Millan, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Beyond the Hustle. And today I am here with Claude Silver. She's the Chief Heart Officer at VaynerMedia. And I'm so excited to have you here, Claude. How are you?
I'm amazing. I'm so excited to speak to you and your audience. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule at the end of the year. It means a lot to me that you agreed for sure. Um, let's start. Well, let's start with congratulations on your new baby. How is your baby?
She's amazing. She's 2 months old today.
Wow, 2 months old today. Wow,
Yeah,
congratulations.
very much.
Is
I
that
appreciate
your you have other kids or that's your first one?
the first kid.
First one. Nice.
Yeah, very special.
Oh yeah.
Extremely special.
Yeah, absolutely. So, being a new mom, how has it been for you creating that balance between being a new mom and your work and your mission and the
Yeah,
energy that it requires?
everything. Work requires energy. Being a mom requires energy. Being in the world requires energy. So for me, it's really about managing my energy and making sure that I'm checking in enough with myself to like when I need to do a little introspection, when I need to leave work early because I want to be with Shalom, my baby. The most that's my priority now. And so the balance. Fortunately, I live close to work, so the balance has not been difficult. I think it's more of a mindset, of when I'm here, I love it. I'm energized and I get so much juice from being here. And when I'm at home, I'm energized and I just get so much juice from like watching her.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't experienced that yet, but who knows?
Who
Maybe.
knows? Yeah.
Maybe it's not too late. Um, so, how did you start working at VaynerMedia and how did you become the chief heart officer there?
Well, I met Gary when I was living in London and I was working at a different agency. And we started chatting. It was pretty instant when we met. I think that we both liked each other. There was something that we both liked about each other. We started chatting back and forth to see if I would stay in London and work for Vayner or come to New York. And he said, I want you to come to New York because I need you to know what my DNA is like, what the energy is like, which was the right move. So I started here in May of 2014. And I started on the account strategy side because that's what I had been doing for so long. And it wasn't until I was here for 18 months that I switched and we created the chief heart officer role. Um, we created it based around a need that Gary needed to scale himself, and he trusted me and has trusted me with the every single person here and really building the culture of VaynerMedia while overseeing what is normally called HR. I changed the name from HR to People and Experience because
Love it.
that is what we're doing here, people and experience. So I've been in this role almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years. I love, you know why I love that concept and why I also wanted to speak to you. My first job and my only job ever was in HR. 10 years ago, I was fresh out of college and um, I had a totally different expectation of what it really was, like in a traditional company. And so what I see that you guys have done with that, not just the role of an HR manager or whatever, but the whole department of HR, I think it's something worth modeling for other companies. So what do you think makes it, because it's not just let's change the name, it's so much more than that. What other changes did you guys make to the typical HR department that has turned it into what it is over there?
Well, I think the first thing is we're very aware that we're here to serve the population. That's our job, is to make sure that we are providing every individual here with our presence and information and our trust and credibility. So I think that's just like the first thing. We're here to serve. And I think a lot of that comes from both Gary and I are servant leaders. And so it kind of trickles out of us. The second thing is we're extremely high touch. I mean, my job is to spend time with each and every individual here. And thus, the HR business partners are given teams that are anywhere from 50 to 100, 150 people. And their job is to spend time with each and every individual. So we're extremely high touch. We try to be both obviously proactive, and of course we're reacting to the needs of certain people, but we're really present. We're very present. Whereas I think HR in many companies is really sits way in the back.
Yeah.
And because of this role, I think in particular, and how it's a part of the C-suite, very, very close to Gary, we're just much more present.
How has that impacted like the company culture?
I mean, I think when you have people that you know are really working for you, right there, it changes everything, because you're like, oh, you're my advocate. Oh, I can trust you. Oh, when you say you're going to do something, you're going to do something. Rather than in many organizations, HR is seen as compliance and really the police force.
Yeah.
And there's no police force here. I mean, we're here to solve issues if need be, people issues, but we're really hoping that before those issues come to us, they're being met and mitigated by the management, So, but I think that has had a profound effect. We're friendly people here. I mean, we're all choosing to be here for a reason. There's many other agencies, many other places that these brilliant people can go to. They're staying here at VaynerMedia. Our attrition numbers are very low, and retention is very high, and we're merit-based culture. So we really want to create high achievers and people that have a lot of EQ as well as IQ. It's super important to us.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think IQ gets a little bit overrated sometimes.
Yeah.
So I know that kindness and empathy are like Gary's favorite words, I suppose, also amongst yours. So how do you create that culture of empathy? Like, how could other companies take some of that and implement it into their companies? What have you guys done for that?
So, I mean, the first thing is it does come from the top.
Mm-hmm.
So because our CEO, Gary Vaynerchuk, is very much an operating CEO and he's very present, he blessed the culture here a very long time ago by saying, we are a family first, people first culture. We are a culture that, we do the right thing. So he said that a long time ago. Bringing that to life that's the fun. That's the fun part, because a culture is everyone's responsibility. So, there's some cases where I'm doing a lot of teaching or coaching on life skills, and how to get out of the micromanaging or control mindset, how to move from that fixed to that growth mindset, how to take accountability for your own stuff. I do a lot of that, a lot of teaching, a lot of coaching like that. And fundamentally, I do think that people here know that our ethos and the blood in our veins is that of turning each other into champions. It's not an I culture. It's a we culture. So I spend a lot of time cultivating that with people, and their managers spend a lot of time cultivating that. But we're also hiring good heart. We're looking for people that we want to spend time with, as well as obviously hiring for skill set. So I think of it like a big soup a lot of times. We have different ingredients in the soup, and you stir it up, and for the most part it tastes great. Some days you need to add a little salt or a little oregano, and but for the most part the soup is good.
Yeah. How do you, but I'm sure every once in a while, you may have made hiring mistakes or something. How do you, yeah. How do you usually manage those situations? Do you work with the person, or you know what, we made a mistake, or how do you deal with that?
Well, hiring. So hiring is a challenge. Hiring is, you hope to get it right, and sometimes it's a luck of the draw. But we're training we do a lot of interview training. We look at things such as unconscious bias, so that we're on top of that, and we're doing our best to not hire people based on being identical to me. We want to hire for diversity of everything, diversity of ethnicity, sexuality, race, diversity of thinking, being curious in different ways. However, when we hire someone, let's say, after 90 days, it's not going great, we have a check-in with them and we let them know it's not going great. And these are the reasons it's not going great. And these are the things we'd like to see. And we're going to keep checking in with you to make sure we're keeping you on track. That you're following up on the things that we know you need to follow up on. Now we get to 6 months and hopefully we've seen an uptick. Say we get to a year and that person is very status quo and they have not been able to rise to what we thought they could be, then we have a serious conversation with them. And either we put them on a performance plan or we look to exit them out of the company. And in exiting them out of the company, we will always do our best to find them other networking opportunities outside. Because Gary's world is so large, there are opportunities and options that one might not have accessible if they were someplace else. And we do our best to terminate people with a gracious and grateful heart. I mean, that's number one. But yeah, we make great hiring decisions, and we make some doozies, and that is human nature.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it happens. And, being a company that is so relevant, it can happen that somebody pretends to be something they're not. And then when they're working, then this person was not what we thought they were.
Yeah. Well, and also, it happens with people who have just been here for a long time also.
Oh, yeah. People change.
Yeah, people change, and people, get off track. So it's funny. I mean, we're human beings, and we're so unique, each and every one of us. So, I do my best to really teach that we're not going to treat everyone as though they were all, apples and apples and apples and apples. We have to get to know each other well enough so I know the differences, what's going on in your life, what's going on in his life, what's going on in her life, and then we can adapt to that.
Yeah,
that's empathy right there.
That's exactly it. And I don't see many companies that do that at that level. So yeah, if I had to have a job, I'd try to work there.
Well, maybe we'll open up a Chilean office one day.
I keep telling Gary, and he ignores me, but I keep telling him, hey, I'm your number one fan down here. There's a lot of business opportunity.
That's right. Cool.
Yeah. So what do you think are the because you talk a lot about communication and everything. How can companies improve their internal communication with their employees and get the right feedback? How do you guys manage that? Because how many people do you have currently?
Yeah, 800 plus.
800 plus, just in this office or across?
No, across everywhere.
Okay, it's a lot of people. So how does the communication flow and feedback sessions, how do you work that out?
Yeah, so I'm laughing. The reason I'm laughing is because the first thing a company can do is listen to their employees. That's the first thing. So, okay, after you listen to your employees and you bring that into practice, then what you need to do with, with feedback is, this is something that we're doing more and more of here, is looking at feedback as a gift, and feedback is providing feedback to another person is an act of caring about them. When you don't give someone feedback, or you don't tell them how they can grow and learn, or you don't tell them how to do it differently, you are withholding their growth and development. That's not fair. So we really, really work on radical candor. I don't know if you can see it here on my wall.
Yes, radical candor. What does that mean?
That means caring personally about a person while being critical. It's giving feedback in a very clear and kind way, being very specific, being very current. I'm not going to give you feedback on something that happened 6 months ago. That doesn't help you. And making sure it's actionable so that you can succeed. So having a feedback culture is essential. Communication, I think, is something that we will always be working on over and over and over. Some days you just get it perfect. And some days you get it so close and you miss that 3 people you needed to have talked to. Oh, it's a heartache, and it happens. So you can put all the processes into place. You can check it off. And some days it's perfect, and some days you just miss. And what we need to do, and what we do our best to do, is then own up to that. Take ownership and accountability to, that's on me. I didn't follow up with you. That's on, I'm sorry that happened. We left you out. We didn't mean to disrespect you. That's on, we were moving too fast, So, and that again is being human, but also being the bigger person, and being able to say, like, I goofed up there. I am very sorry, so
Yeah.
big issues.
Yeah, I guess that's hard sometimes when ego gets in the way to.
Ego, speed, assumption, things that happen on a day-to-day basis. And what you do know is that, the sun rises again and you have another day to get it right. That's the beauty of being in this world. You have another day. It will happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's just being optimistic, so, which I am.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big part of the culture, so
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I'm just curious if you have any personal projects or anything other than your work that you might be working on.
Well, I have my daughter, for sure.
Of course, yes, that's a big project.
I'm doing more and more speaking out in the world, and so speaking with companies and really doing my best to bring the idea of being more human at work. I'm going to start to write a book, which I'm excited about. Very excited. I have an outline, so it's literally, I'm going to chip away at it. And I think my universal project is really spreading more tenderness and kindness. I mean, making sure that we don't shame people. And so whatever I can do with my social platforms, or what I do here, or what I do when I speak in the world, to remind each other that there's no hierarchy here. Let's treat each other as we would treat our friends, our cousins, our sisters, while we're at work. There's no reason to not treat people in a beautiful way.
Yeah, I love that message, and I will be asking you about your book for sure. I'm sure I will want to read that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'll let you.
Yeah. So how do you when because I suppose there are times during the year where there's more what is the right word? There's more work than other times, I guess, like periods of time, right?
I wish I could say there were. It's always the same.
So it's always very heavy work then.
Very high. We're very high octane. I thought these last 2 weeks would be lighter. No.
No. Oh.
Yeah. No, not at all. So, I mean, let's again remember I'm in the business of people.
Yeah.
So we always have things going on.
Mm.
You know, and because we're also in the business of advertising and marketing, the team for the most part are doing their campaigns. So it's always on. It's
always on. There's no downtime.
No, you gotta pay attention to your energy. That's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that employees don't get burnt out, for example? Does this all get managed through feedback sessions, or do you have other systems in place to help them?
So we do have surveys that we send out, but really the most important thing is, spending time with people. Their manager spending time with them, me spending time with them, making sure that we're touching base and figuring out what the vibe is. We bring in yoga, we bring in wellness programs, we bring in healthy food, healthy eating. We bring in coaching, meditation. Now, this is up to them if they want to hop on the bandwagon. That's we can't make anyone do anything. But the opportunities are here, and that's in all of the offices. So. But the most important thing is to make sure that you're talking to enough people and listening and doing, active listening, but also watching. What does the body language say? Have they been working 15 hours straight for the last 2 weeks? They're going to crash. How can you prevent that or catch that, and then supply that person with some type of rejuvenation, relaxation, energy. Yeah.
That is important. I think, energy, keeping your energy levels high, eating the right food.
Yeah, eating the right food. I mean, all of that stuff. So we do that. We do our best to really keep our eye on the prize, which is the human being.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes me really.
Yeah.
I want to work at a place that cares about this stuff.
Well, you do.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited. Yeah, totally.
So what's coming in the next few months? I don't know, any other projects within the company? Anything you can share, of course.
Well, let's see. We're expanding into Singapore in the end of Q1, so that's very exciting.
Yeah.
We've got some big Super Bowl ads that are going to run in late January, I believe. That's Super Bowl or February, I'm not sure. We're just doing a lot of different. The thing about working for Gary is that we try things. We're not precious. We change a lot. So if I told you we were doing this one thing now, in 4 months it could be different, and in a year it could be different. So, we're always, I can say we're always testing and learning, and that's exciting because we're always in motion.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite thing about working with Gary, and what's your least favorite thing, if there is one?
My favorite thing is he's a very inspirational guy. I learned so much from him. He's, very much a mentor, which is exciting, and a friend. And so I learn, it's wonderful to be where I am in my career and at my age, that I'm learning. That's the greatest thing in the world. Uh, my least favorite thing, I don't know. I mean, maybe that he bites his nails a lot, but I really don't. I've been with him for so long that it's just, you know, it's like your favorite pair of blue jeans. It's
I know.
great. It's really great. Yeah, yeah. It's awesome.
I love it. I love it. Um, anyway, I don't want to take too much more of your time. So my final question is, what would you like your legacy to be 5, 10 years from now within the
Um,
company and, outside as well?
yeah. Um, I had a generous heart and I gave people attention. I really think that's it. I think attention is the biggest gift you can give someone.
Mm,
And so if I am known for giving someone attention with a generous heart, I'd be extremely, extremely happy.
very well said. I think you're on the right track there.
You and thank you for asking. It's a beautiful question.
My pleasure. So, thank you once again for your time today. Very excited to have spoken to you, have met you digitally, and well, hopefully someday we meet in person somewhere in New York City.
I love it.
I'm hoping to go there next year. So,
Yeah,
uh,
you let me know, and yeah, mucho gusto.
mucho gusto. So, have a lovely holiday season and hope you guys continue to amass all of the success and caring and love that you guys deserve because you're awesome. You're really awesome people.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.